If you pick it up thinking biography or novel, yeah, you'll probably be surprised by how much is really.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here again to unpack complex stuff, find those fascinating insights, and, well, get you thinking about things maybe you haven't before. Today, we're really pushing the boundaries of what you probably think a book is. Our mission: explore something that's less about reading and more like participating in a conceptual experiment. Get ready, because we're diving into The Absurdist's Guide to Doug, a conceptual performance.
And that phrase, conceptual performance, is so important here. The source material we looked at, it isn't about just absorbing facts like usual. It's really about experiencing it, questioning authorship, language, what even makes something content. We're going to be dissecting this work that sort of merges conceptual art, comedy, and actually it's a surprising bit of introspection. And it all centers around just one word, repeated endlessly. It's a journey. Playful, but quite deep, too.
Okay, you definitely got my attention with that intro. My curiosity is buzzing. So, what exactly is this thing? You sent over the insights on The Absurdist's Guide to Doug, and I mean, the title alone screams something. Wondrously strange. This isn't a standard autobiography, right? We're not getting the life story of some guy named Doug, not in the usual way.
Oh, far from typical. Yeah, you're right to question that. It's best to think of it as this multi-layered conceptual performance piece. It's a really audacious experiment, actually. Playing with identity and meaning, but using a book as the medium. It's basically designed to make you, the reader, stop and think about language itself, about structure, and about what we just automatically expect from a book, or any creative work, really. It's deliberately disruptive.
And this disruption, from what I gathered, involves mixing some really inventive, playful formats with a big dose of absurdist humor. It sounds like it promises content that will genuinely surprise you, our listener, and maybe make you rethink some assumptions about literature. Less like reading a book, more like experiencing an event. But maybe before we get too far, we should clarify something our sources pointed out. Doug isn't just a random name, is it? It's tied to Doug. Doug, right? The online streamer. Known for these interactive, often absurd community projects on Twitch. That context seems pretty important, adds a whole other layer to this identity thing.
Absolutely vital. Yeah, understanding that connection to a digital persona, to a community, is key.
Yeah.
Because it immediately frames the book as more than just text. It's commentary on modern identity, shared online experiences.
Okay, context set. So let's get into the content. This is where it gets, well, really fascinating. You might be thinking, okay, a story, maybe some anecdotes, big reveals, but nope. This book takes an approach so radical, it feels designed to just, well, mess with every expectation you have.
It really does. The most striking thing, based on our sources, is how certain chapters are basically rewritten versions of famous works. And we're talking huge ones. Foundational texts, pop culture hits, controversial bestsellers, things like the Bible, Orwell's 1984, Stephenie Meyer's Twilight, even E.L. James's 50 Shades of Grey, all getting this unique Doug treatment.
Okay, wait, so how are they rewritten? You mean every single word just becomes Doug?
Exactly.
Wow. So imagine reading 1984, a book famous for its critique of language control. But every single word is just Doug. That's immediately and funny. But does it actually amplify the original message or just turn it into a novelty? What's the artistic goal there beyond just the initial shock? I mean, picture being immersed in Orwell's world, the whole oppressive language thing, and suddenly it's all Doug, Doug, Doug. My first thought would be total confusion, like the book is gaslighting me. But then maybe the sheer boldness hits you, makes you ask, what happens to that feeling of dystopia when Big Brother is just Doug?
That's a great question about intent. It's this radical linguistic deconstruction, you see. By replacing everything with Doug, it's like performing conceptual surgery. It strips away all the original meaning, the semantics. What's left is just the ghost of the structure, the rhythm maybe, and it forces you to ask, where does meaning actually come from? Is it in the words? Or is it something we bring based on the structure, the context, our expectations as readers? It's almost like pulling back the curtain, showing how much meaning you, the reader, project onto the text, even when the text is just, well, Doug. It really highlights your active role in making sense of things, even from almost nothing.
That's fascinating. The idea of language and projection, it sounds like you put your brain in this really uncomfortable, challenging space. But hang on, you said it's not just Doug, Doug, Doug everywhere, right? You mentioned other sections, things like limericks and humorous verse. I can only imagine how those sound.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. The Dougified classics are definitely a highlight, but it goes further. There are sections with limericks, humorous verses, often playing on the name itself, the inherent silliness, but then it also includes bits that sound like self-help, or maybe religious advice. but always from a Doug perspective, whatever that means.
Yeah.
And then probably the most jarring twist, sections on Italian cooking.
Italian cooking, seriously. 1 minute you're wrestling with language theory, the next you're learning how to make, lasagna. How does that fit in with all the high concept stuff, the identity question? It just seems like such a chaotic genre jump. It feels like a deliberate poke at our expectations of what a book should be.
Exactly. That jarring shift is intentional. It's part of the design. One moment, deep thoughts on language. The next, carbonara. It's not random. It's meant to disrupt your expectations, make a statement playful, but also profound that a book doesn't have to stick to one tone or topic. Think of it like a conceptual art piece using the book format, like a gallery showing a sculpture next to a sound installation. It challenges your mental categories. Why can't serious literature and trivial content exist side by side? It questions the very idea of a book as just a container for one kind of information.
A culinary interlude in an art gallery. I like that analogy. It
Yeah.
really drives home that it's not just random silliness. Okay, so with all these wildly different pieces rewritten, classics, recipes, advice, what's the big picture? What's the overarching message or purpose that you, our listener, are supposed to take away from this? Beyond the humor and the, frankly, audacity of it all, there seems to be something deeper going on.
That's the core question, isn't it? What's this book trying to do? Our sources point towards it being a performance piece, a genuine experiment. It digs into big ideas. Identity. Whose identity is it? Doug, some archetypal Doug. The communities. It explores repetition, the nature of meaning itself, or maybe the meaning found in the lack of conventional meaning through absurdity. It makes us question how we make sense of language and structure, or how we try to force sense onto things.
And the sources really emphasize how just repeating Jug in so many different contexts really messes with our communication expectations. It's like a cognitive workout, right? Forcing your brain to find meaning or maybe create it. It plays on our reading habits.
Precisely. That extreme repetition forces you to confront those habits, those biases. It makes you reflect on meaning, sure, but also authorship. Who is Doug here? A person, an idea, a stand-in for the author.
Right, for the reader.
For the community. And it makes you face your own expectations as a reader. The book cleverly mixes this apparent personal identity, the references to DougDoug, his community, Twitch audience, with these surreal, absurdist elements. So it's not just one person's project. It becomes both comedy and pretty compelling conceptual art. Blurs the lines. It's an interesting take on how identity gets built and perceived, especially online, within these interactive communities, that interplay between individual and collective identity.
Given all that, maybe we should set some expectations. If you actually pick this up, what kind of experience should you not be looking for? Because it really sounds like if you go in expecting a normal book, you might just be confused or maybe frustrated.
Absolutely. The sources are quite clear here. Definitely don't expect a traditional story. No clear plot, conflict, resolution, none of that. It's not about events unfolding in a line or a standard autobiography telling someone's life story A to B to C. If you pick it up thinking biography or novel, yeah, you'll probably be surprised by how much is really about style, form, and just experimenting with what a book can be, as an object, as a concept. It's crucial to get that some parts are meant to be more conceptual, maybe playfully subversive, rather than just giving you information. You have to kind of engage with it on its own terms.
Right. And speaking of expectations and surprises, there was one last detail you shared that really paints a different picture of the whole project. It adds another dimension to its purpose, something beyond the conceptual or the funny.
Yes, this detail really broadens the whole performance aspect and gives it a tangible, real-world impact. Our sources confirm that all the profits from this book, for the entire first year it's out, so until at least October 2026, are being donated. They're going to the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and potentially longer, they said, if people keep buying it. Which is, well, a wonderful commitment.
That is an unexpected layer, grounding something so abstract in charity. But it makes me wonder, does that charitable angle elevate the art? Or could it potentially distract from its purely conceptual side, maybe make it seem less serious as art to some? What do you think? Some of you, the listener, to chew on.
That's a really thoughtful point. It touches on how we value creative work, doesn't it? From a strict conceptual art view, maybe the charity part is external to the art statement itself. But if you take the title seriously, conceptual performance, then maybe this act of giving back is part of the performance. It extends the book's identity beyond the paper into the real world, connects the absurdity to something concrete and positive. It kind of suggests that even the weirdest forms of expression can carry ethical weight, contribute to something bigger. Challenges that idea that serious art has to be separate from social good. It blurs those lines too, just like it blurs genre and meaning. It adds another layer for you to interpret, definitely.
So wrapping up this deep dive, The Absurdist's Guide to Doug is clearly something else. Unique, thought-provoking, and pretty much impossible to categorize easily. It's less about reading a story and much more about engaging in an experiment, an experience, a conversation with the idea of a book itself. It asks you to bring your own meaning.
Yeah, and this whole exploration really leaves us pondering, doesn't it? If a book can be this stripped down to one word, messing with formats, questioning identity online, and even donating its profits to Sea Life, what other unspoken rules do we carry around? Rules about what art has to be, or identity, or even information. It challenges you, the listener, to think about how often we just assume meaning is there when maybe it isn't explicitly given, or how we might redefine value in creative stuff beyond just narrative or form. It's a powerful reminder, I think, that sometimes to really understand something, you have to break it down first. Or in this case, maybe just say, Doug.
Grab Doug, a DougDoug Story by Douglas Scott Wreden, now on sale for $12.95. Don't miss this chance to build good habit and achieve remarkable results. Buy now today.
Like and subscribe for more Bookhaven podcasts.